Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt. Welcome to the Sin Bin, and it just feels like forever since I've made one of these, but I really wanted to make this video before tonight's first preseason game between the New Jersey Devils and the Montreal Canadiens. I have an announcement about that coming out later, but first, there was a sort of like a practice scrimmage, an inter-squad practice scrimmage. It was the Reds versus the Whites. It was open to the public. 15,000 people showed up. 15,000 people. Does Montreal have the best fans, or do they have the best fans? I mean, come on, 15,000 people, that is great. And there's a lot of things to take out, a lot of points that I wanted to talk about from that intra-squad game. I'm going to show a little bit of highlights. We're going to analyze it. But I had a lot to say about Suzuki and Poehling. They're the two rookies that all the eyes are on them. They sort of remind me of that year that Gallagher and Galchenyuk were coming up, and they ended up both making the team. I forget the year, I apologize, but my point is, I wouldn't be surprised if this year, if Suzuki and Poehling have a really, really good training camp here, if they have a really good preseason, I wouldn't be surprised if they both make the club. Is that what I want? That's another story for another time, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if they both make the club. So, today, we're going to look at the article by Sportsnet. It's by Eric Engels, I believe. Yep, Eric Engels. Really, really good reporter. He's talking a little bit about the points. And Jonathan Drouin, you're just going to hear him praise Nick Suzuki. If you haven't read it yet, I'm going to do it for you. We're going to go through the points. And I hope you enjoyed this video. But first, I had a little bit of an announcement. So, as I alluded to, tonight is the first game between the New Jersey Devils and the Montreal Canadiens, preseason game, of course, and I wanted to do something. So, I'll be doing a live stream. I'll be taking your questions, your Q&A. I don't know how many people will show up, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a Q&A. We're going to talk. You guys can go in the live chat, whatever. And obviously, I'm not allowed to stream the games. I mean, there's going to be a copyright strike. My channel's going to be taken down. No, so I can't stream the games. That being said, I'm going to try to find a link. You see, I'm working on one right here. I'm going to try to give you guys a link so you guys could watch it at the same time as me so that we're both watching it. And then I can also take your questions. I don't know if it's going to be this link or if I can find a YouTube link. Those usually work better. But with that being said, the announcement is out of the way. Why don't we get into the article, okay? So as I said, 15,000 screaming fans were in attendance. It was like a Stanley Cup playoff game. Now, the Montreal newcomer, Ben Chariot, one of the only newcomers for the Canadiens this offseason, to the chagrin of many fans, I mean, he was just flustered. He says, and I quote, "I've never seen anything like that," the freshly signed Canadiens defenseman said afterwards. Eric Engels says, "Get used to it, Ben. That's how it is in Montreal." 21,000, what is it? 21,700 fans. You know, they have great attendance. Maybe it dipped a little throughout the years, but they generally have great attendance. Ben Chariot goes on to say, "It felt good out there. He hit some guys, and he's 225 pounds. I mean, the Canadiens, they have a heavy team this year. If you look at some of, Poehling, if 200 pounds, Kotkaniemi getting up there, Suzuki getting up there, they have a heavy team this year." There was also a lot of intensity, as we're going to see in the highlight package, but I want to get to that a little bit later. But I wanted to talk specifically about what Jonathan Drouin said about Nick Suzuki. He says, "I don't want to fully compare him to Brayden Point, where maybe he's missing the speed, but in the next couple of years, if it comes, he's that kind of player where he just kind of does everything right," Drouin said about Suzuki. "It maybe not be the boom, spectacular play every time, but he makes little smart plays. He makes the right plays where it makes the difference." He goes on to say, "I was there in Halifax for the Memorial Cup last spring, and you could see Suzuki's poise. It was really there. His playmaking ability, his small plays, his big plays, he made them all. I was impressed." So say what you want about Drouin. He's comparing Brayden Point to Nick Suzuki, where maybe he doesn't have the speed factor, but everything else, what they see in their game, Drouin is comparing Suzuki to Brayden Point. I mean, not a bad comparison, right, guys? I mean, raise your hand. Who wouldn't want Brayden Point on their team? I would want Brayden Point on my team. But as is the story for Suzuki, saying it is one thing. I'm the type of person, show me. Enough with the saying. Let's see if your bark is stronger than your bite. Or whatever the saying is. So this is why I really want to pay attention. This upcoming preseason game between the Devils. I want to pay attention to Suzuki. Because the rookie camp is whatever. The Belleville camp, the tournament. That's whatever for me. I don't really put too much stock into it. I'm going to be looking at him like a hawk. Now there's the other guy, Poehling. What does Drouin think about Poehling? He says he's a big, powerful forward. He has speed. I think his hands are underrated. I skated with him this summer. He's got quick hands, and they're quick, his quick wrist shot. I think you saw last year that he can play in this league, and hopefully he just keeps growing and growing as a player. Poehling is saying about himself, I have a good stride, a long one. I gained a lot of power in the summer. When you have more power to push into it, I think you get a little bit more speed out of it. So if there's one word to kind of summarize Poehling out of the mouth of Drouin and out of the mouth of Poehling himself, it's power. Ryan Poehling right now is a physical specimen. He is by all means a powerful forward. And again, the only people that seem to be bullish about him is me and Pierre Maguire, where we both think he's much, much better than other people are projecting him. I'm really high on Poehling. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes, and I'm not talking about where he's projecting, but more so his playing style. He reminds me of a Ryan O'Reilly. Just kind of that two-way center, the big center, not going to wow you with his speed, but he has great size and two-way center ability. So, a lot of hype coming for these two potential rookies, Poehling and Suzuki. I can't wait to see what will happen. Now, if you guys didn't get a chance to see the squad game, whatever it's called, the scrimmage, it was Les Blancs versus Les Rouges, the Whites versus the Red. The Reds ended up winning 5-4 in a shootout. And we got to see a lot of rookies. We got to see Brook, who he himself didn't have the most impressive of rookie tournaments. We got to see Caden Primo. We got to see the aforementioned Suzuki and Poehling. And you guys out there, you're about to see it. So let's see what happened in that game. I'm going to be pausing and commenting, by the way. So the game starts off. Carey Price is in the team of the Whites. Charlie Lindgren is playing for the Reds.
Les Rouges obtiennent la première occasion du match. Le nouveau venu Phil Verone prépare tout le travail pour Matthew Pekka qui rate la cible. C'est bien connu, ça prend.
All right, so the first play. Let me see if I can switch it, guys. There, that must be better. The first play, Phil Verone. I gotta apologize. I don't know much about Phil Verone. I don't know much about his on-ice play, I should say. I know that he loves hockey. He's passionate about it. I don't know much about his on-ice play, but he kind of made a nice play there. Matthew Pekka couldn't put it home. I don't know if you guys got to see that. Right here. I paused it right at the right moment. Pekka, he can almost have an empty net right here. He goes and puts it wide. And the reason why I put that out, sorry, there was a little bit of a lag, is because Matthew Pekka, when he was acquired, or I should say when he was signed for the Canadiens, I mean, not that there was a lot of hypes, but there was a certain level of expectation. Right? I mean, he's a player that he's on the speedier side. The league is going faster and faster. And, last year, he just couldn't get into the lineup on a regular basis. I mean, I hope that he could do it this year. I personally think he's going to be battling with Nick Cousins. These are two, not polar opposite, but different players in their own right. One is speedy, maybe a little bit more on the skilled side. And the other one is a bigger, grittier, in-your-face type of player. But all that to say that Matthew Pekka had a great chance over there, and he missed the net. Let's see what happens next.
C'est bien connu, ça prend souvent un jeu parfait pour déjouer Price. Eh bien, le voici. De Ben Chariot à Jeff Petrie qui sert ensuite une...
So in case you guys didn't see that, Ben Chariot, newly acquired 225-pounder Ben Chariot, passes it over to Petrie, who does a beautiful cross-crease pass to Belzil. Belzil, I believe, led the Laval Rocket in scoring. So he might get a few looks here and there. I think the lineup right now is a little bit too saturated. He might go back to Laval. But that was a really nice play. This player here in white, I don't know who it is. I see a 4 and potentially a 6. So I think that was Josh Brook. That wasn't the best defensive play. The puck kind of completely went past him. Wasn't the best defensive play, but that's why I think that Brook, for the moment, will be better suited in Laval. For the moment. So let's see what happens next in the scrimmage.
Une belle passe à Alex Belzil, un but facile pour le meilleur pointeur du Rocket l'an dernier. Parlant de meilleur pointeur, celui du tricolore se signale. Max Domi bondit sur un long retour de lancer, c'est un...
All right, Max Domi getting a rebound there. Not much to say. Max Domi, you expect what you expect from him. He's going to put up a lot of points. He's a very consistent player, in my opinion. Maybe not on the score sheet as much as the effort, but in terms of effort, he's a very consistent player. And there he just shows it off. You know, maybe not the prettiest of goal, a garbage goal, but he gets it in.
Jesperi Kotkaniemi a fait parler de lui avec sa nouvelle charpente. Même à 198 livres, c'est difficile devant chez eux.
Okay, so hold on. Let me pause. I apologize, guys. I'm pausing a lot. If you want to check the highlights, they're on rds.ca. I think it's free for everyone. But he basically said, the announcer, Kotkaniemi, he recently put 198 pounds. Okay? But that couldn't stop his fall into the boards. And if you saw that play, I'm almost certain Shea Weber didn't do that on purpose to trip him up in the boards. That could have been a potentially disastrous play. Okay? Hopefully, thank God, Kotkaniemi is all right. You know, he sustained no injury. He's all right. He's healthy. He gets a penalty shot, okay, because it's a penalty. And in the scrimmages, instead of going on the power play, the player's awarded a penalty shot. Now, look what happens on the preceding penalty shot. Look what Kotkaniemi does. The ball's on this kid. I'm just going to let it speak for itself.
Weber, le capitaine s'excuse de l'avoir fait trébucher. Il retire des pénalités. Que fera Kotkaniemi 2.0 devant Price? Le jeune joueur a confiance en ses moyens et opte pour un tir. Bonne décision, c'est 2-1 pour lui.
Did you guys see that? I need to watch it again.
Le jeune joueur a confiance en ses moyens.
I mean, the balls on this kid. They said he gained weight this past summer. Was it all ball weight? I mean, he comes up to Carey Price, maybe a top 5 goalie in this league. Pulls off a slap shot, top net. And he puts it in. Now, unfortunately for Kotkaniemi, and from what I hear from other people, they say he was relatively quiet throughout the rest of the game. Apart from this one flash of brilliance, he was relatively quiet. But again, I'm not putting too much stock into this. By all means, he's an NHL regular. He shouldn't be busting his ass out on a rookie or a training camp game. My apologies. But let's just move on. All right, second period, Kincaid and Primo in nets. Okay, Caden Primo is a player that I was so high on during the development camp. And you just saw it on that play. When he makes the save, you know, sometimes goalies, and I'm no expert by any means, but I'm telling you this from what I've seen in the past, from what I've evaluated. They make the save, and momentum kind of swings them one end. And they kind of lose control of their crease. Now, look at Caden Primo on this play. He makes the save. He's in total control of his crease right there. And he gets the rebound. Okay. Now, Paulie Byron, the score is 2-2, I believe. He gets a penalty shot on the aforementioned Caden Primo. Paulie Byron is one of the best, penalty shot takers. Shootout takers for the Canadian. I don't know if that's proper terminology, but whenever there's a shootout, Paul Byron is always up there. He's really good at shootouts, and he's coming up against Caden Primo. Let's see what happens.
encore une fois.
Just makes it look easy. I mean, guys, by all means, this guy's the goalie of the future, in my opinion. He's not going to take Carey Price's role. He's not going to replace Carey Price. He's going to succeed Carey Price. Carey Price is going to run out his course. He may or may not win. I hope he wins. But by all means, Caden Primo, from what I've seen, he's the goalie of the future. Wasn't a fan of that goal, but we're going to let it slide.
Autour de Keith Kincaid d'être mis à l'épreuve. Nate Thompson récupère une rondelle libre et marque. Mention honorable à Paul Byron qui démontre son esprit compétitif.
So, Paulie Byron wears an A. He has an A on his chest. If there's any question why he wears that A, just look at his reaction. This is an inter-squad game, and he's out there slashing sticks. I mean, I love to see that in Paulie Byron. And he's going to have his vengeance. Oof, fuck. Petrie. I mean, did Mario Lemieux just possess the body of Petrie here?
Vous vous rappelez un peu plus tôt dans le match, Byron avait été frustré par Primo. Cette fois, le rapide attaquant déjoue le gardien.
So here's Paulie Byron on a shootout attempt. Top net. And that ends it. That was the only goal of the whole shootout. And that about ends my video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This kind of analysis on the two potential rookies and the analysis on the inter-squad game. Again, I want to remind you, I'm going to be doing a live stream reaction of the first preseason game. I'm going to try to find a link for you guys, okay? Because I want you guys to have something to watch at the same time. Since I can't put it up on the screen, I will have it removed. RDS is going to come after me. So I'm going to try to find a link. I'm working on one, potentially a YouTube link. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more Montreal Canadiens talk. And as always, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.